This thing right here is a miter saw. I know it doesn't look like one, but that's exactly the point. Today, I'm going to show you 10 incredible tools built specifically for small shops. And every single one will make you rethink what's possible in a cramped workshop. Let's go. Before we get started, if you'd like to check out any tool that I show today, I'm going to link those in the description, the pinned comment. Of course, my TV viewers, you can scan the QR code with your phone. It takes you right to my website. That way you can shop these links while you also watch the video. Now, let me show you what we found. Most people think you need a massive workshop to own serious tools, but they're wrong. I know a lot of us, including myself, are working in garages, storage sheds, or sometimes even a back patio or the driveway. So having compact tools is key to getting the job done. So today I'm going to show you some compact tools that give you big shot results. First, if you're looking for a compact table saw for a small shop, I think there's two here that are worth looking at. First, the 8 1/4 DeWalt is my favorite tiny saw, so it's really small. If you are very limited on space, this little job site saw is great. It has a rack and pinion fence, has plenty of power to do anything you want. You can even build smaller jigs for it, like my little small table saw sled that I built. It's really nice that you can build small jigs for this, and a lot of people don't know you can build some really quality, amazing stuff with small table saws. This saw is always under $400, at least at the time of this filming. It's usually around $300 to $350. It's a solid option at this price. There is another one that's a full-size table saw, or at least a full-size contractor-style table saw, and that's the Skill. I think the Skill is the best table saw under $500. You're getting a full 10-inch size blade. You're getting the rack and pinion fence. You get plenty of power to do anything you want, and you can put most of a potato stack on this saw. Not all, but most, if you wanted to run one of those. I recently did a full review of this Skill. You can go check out after this video, but it is by far the best saw under $500, and when I say under $500, it's usually around $300 to $325, $329, somewhere in that price range. It's incredible. You can also check out the Evolution table saw. Now, the Evolution table saw come out, or I found out about it last year, and it sold out. It went viral because it's such a cool saw. Now, it has gone up in price about $75 from when I reviewed it, but it's still a good value if you need a full-size table saw that's also compact. It has a couple of cool features, including a sliding table, which I haven't seen on a table saw in this category. I know there's a couple out there, but I haven't tested them. And then also it does have that outfeed support on the back that you can slide out when you need it. This is perfect for small spaces. At about $475 at the time of this video, it's still a solid value, although I think the Skill edges it out just because it is quite a bit less expensive. As far as jointers go, I've had the Wahuda jointer for 5 years or so. It's been a while. This thing is great, especially for the price. It's going to be hard to find an 8 or a 10-inch jointer in this price range. If you need a benchtop jointer, that's the one I recommend because it doesn't take up a lot of space and you still get that larger capacity jointer. If you're looking for a benchtop drill press, I've had the Wind for a long time. I think that's one of the better benchtop drill presses out there for the price. Right around $200. Does what it needs to do. Drilled a lot of holes with mine. If you're looking for a benchtop planer, things kind of get a little muddy. It depends on what your budget is, what your space size is, and what you're actually looking for. So if you're looking for the best budget planer that I've tested, Craftsman does a really good job. Out of the box, had a little snipe, but I was able to adjust that out using those in-feed, out-feed tables. Now, if you want to step up to a good quality joiner, you're probably going to be looking at the DeWalt DWS-735X. It is the workhorse that has been in most shops or in a lot of shops for decades now. It is a proven winner. It's just a good planer. It does come with the 3 knives, so there's 3 spinning knives that actually cut or plane the wood. You can upgrade that aftermarket to a helical cutter head. It might void the warranty, so you may want to check that out, but a lot of people have that upgraded head and like it. If you don't want to fool with that, there's a couple you can look at. Grizzly or Oliver, they both come out last year with 15-inch planers, so they're 15 inches wide capacity. They're beasts. If I was telling you to pick one over the other, I would just recommend the Grizzly. It's less expensive. It has a spiral cutter head instead of the helical, so the actual teeth on the cutter head are square to what you're cutting versus angled on a helical. Otherwise, I think it's just one of the better values out there, especially at the price it's at. They're also likely made in the same factory because they look almost identical. If you don't have the room or the budget for a planer, you might think about something like this. This is the Rockler router sled. There's 2 different versions. One's larger for slabs, and this smaller one that I have here is perfect for smaller projects like cutting boards, charcuterie boards, or even serving trays and things like that. The great thing about this is you just mount your router to it. Fits almost any router. This is a 2 1/4 horsepower DeWalt router, and you can see that I'm just flattening the board. You can use this as a jointer and a planer, as you see here. First, you're going to flatten one side. All I did was just put a board down there and shim it up so it's not moving. And then I just flatten that one side back and forth, as you see, very easy to use. And then I flip the board over and set it flat on the surface and plane the other side, or surface the other side. What that did was it surfaced both sides of that board, and now it's dead flat all the way across it. It is extremely nice, and it just works well. And if you're in a small shop and you don't have a planer or a jointer, this might be a good option for you. One of the craziest things that's come along in the last few years that have helped small shops just make a lot of money and make a lot of cool custom products are lasers. Now, you may not know, but I coach over 500 other woodworkers on how to grow their business over at Sawdust Startups. It's school.com/Sawdust Startups if you want to check it out. But one of the main things in that group that I see over and over and over is the people who have lasers are able to offer a whole lot of customization with their products. And what that does is help them sell more products. So adding a laser to your small shop could be something that you might be interested in. Now, there's a bunch of different versions on the market. I had a chance to talk to X-Tool at a convention earlier this year, and they have a bunch of different models to basically fit any size shop, including very small desktop style lasers or even larger ones if you're doing larger projects. I'll link below to that video as well as in the description if you just want to go check out the lasers they have to offer, but it could be a good option for you if you want to add customization to your shop. Now, what about that miter saw in a box? Because this is a thing. So last year I saw this online and thought, man, this is kind of silly. So I bought it to see how it would work. This is a miter saw in a box. This is pretty crazy. So it folds out, and then that reveals the guide that your saw rides on, and you can create angle cuts or even square cuts using the circular saw included. Now, this is a 12-volt cordless system called Blueprint from Dremel. Dremel's been around for years with their rotary tools, but now they're starting to come out with other tools, including a drill and some other stuff. But this Blueprint miter saw is perfect if you picked up the laser, because a friend of mine actually has this Dremel Blueprint now because he has a laser, and I said, hey man, can you take this and check it out and see what you think? They've been using it like crazy because they're able to cut those small parts for the laser. So the little signs and different things like that, that's where this is perfect. So if you're in a small space, I've even heard from people using these in apartments and small garages and things like that, just to help them cut down small pieces, or even flooring. You can cut flooring with these too. So this is a pretty nice little tool for a small shop, and it's basically a miter saw in a box. It's absolutely genius. Personally, I think one of the most underrated tools in woodworking are track saws, because in a lot of cases you can actually replace what a table saw does with a track saw. Now, there's kind of a good, better, best here that I'm going to recommend just for simplicity's sake, but I do have a full video of 15 different track saws that I tested and ranked them from worst to first. If you're looking for a budget track saw, you got to check out the Craig. Right now it's like less than $500, and you get a track and you get this corded track saw, so you don't have to be in a different platform. This, I think, is the best budget track saw on the market, and it has been for a very long time. If you're stepping up from there, there's a few that I would recommend. First, the Milwaukee M18 track saw is probably my favorite track saw out of all that I've tested. I love it, and to this day I have several here in the shop that I have kept around to test and things. I grab the Milwaukee when I want to use the track saw. I just like it that much. But if you're a Makita fan, Makita makes a fantastic corded model that's very well priced for what you're getting. And then they have two different cordless versions, 36 and 40. I would actually get the 40 over the 36. It just has better power. I just like it a little better. And then of course there's Festool. They have a lot of different track saws, but honestly they're all good. You could just pick one. I like the TS55. There's also the TS60, which is a 60 millimeters, so it's a little bit deeper cut. But I do like the safety technology on the Festools where they have the anti-kickback. But a track saw can do several things that you may not know about. First, you can use it for what track saws are good at. They just break down sheet goods. One of the things about having a small shop is you don't have a whole lot of room to store materials. So when I get plywood in, typically I want to break it down. If I'm building cabinets or whatever, I can just use the track saw to do that pretty quickly, because especially if you have a small table saw, this can be a very big challenge. So a track saw is going to help you get very good accurate cuts and also save a lot of space, because it's just a saw with a track that you can lean up anywhere. Secondly, you can just do repeatable cuts over and over and over with a couple of different attachments. I like the TSO guide rail square. It basically just turns your track saw into a giant speed square, and then you can just line up the mark and make the cut. If you need dead accurate results, you gotta have some parallel guides. This helps you just continually repeat the same measurement over and over and over. Perfect if you're making drawers, boxes, cabinets, anything like that. And in those cases, the track saw, in my opinion, is even better than a table saw. Let me know what you think. Now, if you do a lot of cutting boards and things like that, you might want to take a look at something like this. This is a Jet benchtop drum sander. This thing is pretty cool for what you're getting. Drum sanders in general are very expensive, and this is not really an exception to that. This one's at around $1,000, and I had wanted the drum sander for a very long time, and I caught this on sale for like 100 or something off, and so I wound up picking it up. Now, there is a few limitations to this, but it does also offer some things that I didn't have before. First, the limitations. This is not the most powerful tool that you're going to use. You cannot take off a bunch of material with this sander. If you try to, it will flip the little internal breaker, which can be frustrating. But if you take off a minor amount, in other words, you're sanding the surface, which is what this is meant to do, not dimension the lumber and get it thinner like a planer would, then this will work exactly how you think it should. Just taking off small passes every time, you can actually resurface boards or even a final sand on a cutting board or something like that. For that purpose, this is a solid option. But if you're wanting to take off a lot of material, do not buy this. One of the best small shop upgrades that can level up a small shop is a CNC. Now I know CNC is not for everybody, but the things this thing can do for a small shop or even a small business are next level. There's not much else that can do this. Now, I've had the Shapeoko 5 Pro for a few years now, and I have run it through the paces many times. I've built quite a bit of stuff with it. What's great is, with a CNC, you can batch things out. I always call my CNC my first employee because I was able to set it and let it work while I was working on something else. So it's over there batching out templates or product while I devote my time to doing other stuff. That helps generate more product in the shop, more product I can sell, more profit for the business. I personally went with the 2 foot by 4 foot Shapeoko 5 Pro because it fits nicely in my small shop. I think it's a perfect small shop CNC. They have a larger footprint that's a 4 foot by 4 foot cutting area. They even have a 2 foot by 2 foot version if you are really cramped on space. What's really cool is this year they come out with a leg kit, so you can actually have legs on it freestanding and you can put stuff under it. I had an old workbench I set mine on, so it worked out for me. But the leg kit is cool and quite intriguing. If you do get the Shapeoko 5.1, I would absolutely recommend upgrading to the spindle. I have the 65mm spindle. I like it, works great. There is an 80mm as well. It's a little more power, a little more efficient, so it just depends on what you need there. Everything else you need is going to come with it. The table, the work table that you clamp things down, the work holding, the bits, everything you need. I mean, it's just out of the box, set up, and go. That's what I like about it the most. What I like about the Shapeoko 5 Pro, when I got it, I set it up and it was ready to go. I didn't have to worry about sourcing the table or any other parts and pieces. Everything you need comes with it, including a few starter bits. And they have a guarantee that if you break your bit in the first, 30 days or so, they'll replace it without any questions. And you're probably gonna break a bit if you've never used a CNC. So I like that they do that. The 5 Pro comes with the undermount light so you can see what you're working on. The 4s, but before that, didn't have that. It's just a really good feature as well. One of my favorite things about the Shapeoko 5 Pro is you can actually go and learn how to use the CNC before you ever get it, absolutely free. You can go to my.carbide3d.com. They got some free courses that show you exactly how to start your first few projects using their software and their CNC. The opportunity is really endless with CNCs, whether you're doing custom engraving or you're making custom products for people or even wholesale products for other businesses to sell. A lot of people use them for that. If you want to see some smart upgrades to help you maximize a small shop space, you got to check out that video. I just released it a few days ago. Click in that box, get you the big old virtual fist bump. Seriously, serious upgrades.